Hello, I'm Nick Hammond. I'm a writer, traveller, journalist, reporter, author, broadcaster, many other things. Author of Around the World in 80 Cigars, which if you haven't bought, you should do. And creator of the Oriental Cigar Gin with Leggett. I do, yes. I'm normally a sort of spicy pizza kind of guy, pepperoni, the spicier the better with a few jalapenos. But yeah, I love a bit of pineapple. Oh, well, if you assume that the basics like water and an occasional bit of food are there, there's only one answer, surely. It's a master case of your favourite cigar. Uh, what else are you going to do? You could do a bit of spearfishing and a bit of swimming, but what are you going to do at night when the stars come out and you buy your fire? Only one thing, you can just spark up a good cigar. I suppose you'd need a humidor of sorts, so maybe we could have a large walk-in humidor as well, please. Imagine the answers you could give to that. Wow, that's a good question. There's one dream I remember from my childhood, which is very rare, well, especially for me. I don't often remember dreams, and I sort of think, occasionally get little snippets of it. In fact, this morning I said to my daughter, Elton John came on the radio, and I said, I had a dream last night. I was chatting to Elton John. But anyway, that's beside the point. This dream was about polar bears, right? And I was with this person, and it must be some, I'm sure Freud could tell you what this means. So I was with this disabled person in a wheelchair in the South Pole and North Pole, because that's where the polar bears are. And we were like going across the ice, and something happened, and we got stuck. And this polar bear came and was, giving it large. And I hid behind this thing, and then I felt terribly guilty because my disabled friend was in a wheelchair. What the wheelchair was doing on the snow and ice, I've no idea, but maybe it had skis or something. And I can remember it to this day. And then it was like a movie. And then there was a shot of this big paw went whack, and then there was blood on the snow. The end. How terrifying. Wow. That's tough because they're both amazing. I think I'd have to choose the grass because I'm an outdoors sort of chap, so I love the wildlife, the countryside, and the smell of the fresh cut grass means it's spring, and that means you've got the worst of the winter over, and there's a bit of hope on the horizon. I would definitely go for grass, although I do like to bake a bit of bread. Sadly, I'm one of these geeks that started making sourdough bread and stuff. But I love it. It's quite therapeutic when you're kneading and slicing and cursing when it comes out like a brick. Good question. I think I'd go to the past. I'd go and see Elvis Presley live in concert. Can I go to multiple places? Yeah, why not? I would go and see dinosaurs. I want to see a T-Rex. It's not so close that it gets me like the polar bear, but I'd love to see. I will go and I would be in the crowd for that gig that Bob Marley did in London where there's the live recording of No Woman, No Cry. And, I'd probably quite like to be at Wembley for 1966. There's loads of things, isn't there? A lot to do with music, really. Some music means a lot to me, so live gigs, things that I miss, live albums, BB King live at the Regal, would love to have been there. But yeah, going to the future, it's not looking great, is it? Let's just have a cigar now, for God's sake, because we don't know what's going to be happening. Wow. Well, the first song that comes to mind is no particular application, but it's every time that you walk in the room, da 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 da. But that might get a bit tedious for everyone else. That's a great question. You have to really annoy people and play something like Layla, which goes on for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh, I don't know. Here comes the sun. Funniest thing. Well, I have to admit, quite often it involves laughing at my wife, which is a bit mean, but she says really crazy things. Like she doesn't think, so she mixes up words, says something that's completely irrelevant, and we all go, um, "Did she just say that?" But and some of it is really bizarrely funny. But funniest thing, it hasn't been a lot of bundle of laugh lately, has it? Really? Although I will let you into a little secret. Last week, I don't know, you might have to cut this, check with Scott first. So Scott and Steve and I had set aside some time on a Friday afternoon because we hadn't caught up for ages, and we needed to test a load of, this is honest, Gov, whiskey samples and cigar samples for a project that we might be working on. So we logged on, and it was a sunny day, and it was Friday afternoon, and Steve had sent all these whiskies down, and let's try this one with that one, and this one with that one, and we had one of the drams, and we started one cigar, and we start talking about, well, yeah, this one works quite well because it has notes of that, and are you picking up? And then we noticed that Scott had already finished one and had moved on to the next one. He was drinking the wrong whiskey and the wrong cigar. And by the end of it, he had a right good few drams, and he was sitting there hiccuping. We ended up being on this call for 4 hours, and it was a great way to spend a Friday afternoon. You better check with him that he minds you putting it on. How would I sell hot chocolate to people in the summer? I think the first thing you'd have to do is find someone who would give you like a scientific survey that would tell you that actually your blood vessels dilate quicker if you drink something warm than if you drink something cold, and it's much better. I think there is some truth in that, isn't there? Because tea drinkers always say, I like a cup of tea in the summer because it cools you down. Other than that, call it milkshake. A buzzard. Not because I am an old buzzard, but because, again, country thing. And there's you always used to go, we were kids, and the family used to go down south to Devon for holidays. And then you could only find buzzards in that southwest in England. Now they're everywhere. And I've never seen this massive bird, so I'd never seen a bird this big, and I was obsessed with birds of prey, and I used to do falconry and stuff. And then they became more widespread, and they're up here, and every now and then you see them, and they always seem to be having such a great time. They're on the thermals, just like cruising about, seeing what they can see. I've always wanted to be able to fly. And yeah, me and my dad used to sit and watch buzzards, and he's no longer with us. So whenever I see a buzzard, I always say, all right, Dad. Generally, I think I wouldn't want to be a celebrity. I'd like the money, but not the fame. Because most of them get so much stick in the papers and stuff, don't they? And their families, and I'm a very private person, so I would hate it if paparazzi were peering under the garden gate or something. But if I had to be, I think a rock star maybe, because at least that's cool. I've always been a massive fan of Eric Clapton, and been seeing loads of times. I think a guitar god. Well, I'd have to be a guitar god, really. Yeah.